Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Zachary Dickinson here. Hope you all have had a wonderful and blessed week. Hope it's been safe travels, a wonderful time, and that you have had a lot of fun in and out of work, at home, and or with family as well. Hope you've had a wonderful and enjoyable time as we close out this wonderful month of May in 2026. Now, what just came out 1 week ago, I saw it on this past Monday, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is basically The Mandalorian Season 4 in a very condensed format. I say condensed because basically every season of a Disney Plus show for The Mandalorian is 8 episodes, roughly 50-ish minutes. So that would be 400-ish minutes, which that is just over 6 hours. So this is just over a third of that time. And so it's very condensed format, and I think the general idea is that if this is successful enough, they'll probably just do the Mandalorian and Grogu movies into oblivion. Why do I say into oblivion? Because they realistically have enough to do a lot. Because the Imperial Remnant stuff does take a very long time to fully eliminate. And I don't believe the Imperial Remnant for Star Wars doesn't end until about 15 or so years after Return of the Jedi, and this already, Mando Season 1 is already 9 to 10 years after Return of the Jedi. And so, Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie, we had characters like Zeb in it. We have Rada the Hutt, who is so great, so amazing. Love how he fights. He is amazing in every way. Grogu is insanely OP. Just one of the most powerful force users ever, and he's 50. That may be old for some people, but in Grogu's species time, that is toddler. In 100 years, he'll be a Padawan for the next 100 years. He's literally like 200 years from his peak. And we still don't know how he came to be, as in born. And I would love to find that out in some way, shape, or form in a future season or movie. I loved how this movie pretty much just focused on the fact that we're going to eliminate the Hutts. While Mando wants to hunt down these Imperials, the Hutts are trying to go, hey, we'll help you if you give us this one so we can murder him. Mando doesn't like that. Din Djarin doesn't like that at all. They still capture him. They capture Din as well. They send out a bounty hunter to Din, and he captures Din Djarin at his home. Um, over I forget the planet's name. But I love the bounty hunter. Why he basically doesn't speak, and that's just a great and wonderful character. Just doing the job. Boom, boom, done. The little creatures with Grogu, that was fun moments all throughout. Um, Mando, aka Din Djarin, after his helmet is torn off and goes, huh, well now y'all can't live anymore. And they go, oh, well your honor code is now broken because of your helmet off. And he's like, not if y'all don't live, I just kill you. And that's what happens. And we get the destruction of Nal Hutta. So basically, Rada Hut is the last surviving Hut. I will note one thing though about this movie is, though we know the conclusion to the Huts, many Star Wars fans want an adaptation in some way, shape, or form about the Old Republic. And why am I mentioning this? Because this would take place over 10,000 years before this movie and would presumably have the Hutts in some way, shape, or form because they've had the Outer Rim in a chokehold for a very long time. So they may appear and may just as dominant as before as they live in a similar manner to Grogu's species, it seems. As it seems that once a hut is born, they kind of grow up the same range as a human, but then after that they just live for like 200 plus years or so. And so if we go further past the timeline of Mandalorian and Grogu, we are very likely by the time we get to the Rey movie after the sequel trilogy, that'll be about 50 years later from this movie, we would have Grogu and Rada still likely alive, which is insane. Um, Mando, wonderful. He was kind of basic and not too much growth or development here. Just a fun action sequence. The water dragon snake was very hilarious, and I loved it as a whole. I love that we gave us a new mythical monster without killing it, something that Star Wars most of the time does. Also, the battle arena as Rada and Din are trying to battle all these monsters that come about in this circle. They are almost all of them are from different games, like some from Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, um, Force Unleashed, all these different video games. These are mostly where all those monsters pretty much came from, and that was a very nice touch to give a callback towards the video games, and to establish them in a bigger, large scale movie. I do love how this movie grossed basically its entire budget, nearly like its entire budget before the marketing included in the opening weekend. That gives a lot of mm, future side, a lot. I can't think of the word. A lot of promise towards what this movie's total box office will be. And for instance, one either Rogue One or Solo hit about 102 million, and or something like that, and the Mando and Grogu movie hit 165 million. And so it's not a large Star Wars movie like one of the Skywalker Saga movies, but it only needs about 3 to 400 million to break even, which is great. I like that. I like that a lot. The total film budget was about 144, and then add about 100 million for marketing and stuff. And so I love that it's this low. I would love it to be lower for easier profits. But I find that if a movie is 250 million and below, including marketing, that's great and promising for it to make sustainable success in the box office and in future streaming as well. Also, this movie coming out in Star Wars month, with it being the first one coming out in Star Wars month in over a decade, is very great and wonderful. Also, it comes off just a week or two after the end of Maul Shadow Lord, so having a show come out and then a movie come out weeks later kind of builds up hype and going, oh, Star Wars is around and we're kind of having a few different things come out right now, which is why I think we should have a few more Star Wars projects come out. And overall for the Mando movie, I know I've gotten a little bit sidetracked here and there, but overall, I would rate it about a 7.5 out of 10. A good overall movie, nothing groundbreaking. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't groundbreaking or anything. But I feel like this movie is kind of setting the stage and kind of testing the waters to see if this kind of movie could actually profit. What do I mean? Well, a Mandalorian who doesn't remove his mask, a incredibly powerful force user who is basically only a toddler but can understand a lot, a literal beast of a monster in Zeb, which uses a weapon that has lightning at the ends of it and can be formed into a blaster. Now, part of their group has a hut. They're also part of the New Republic. Dave Filoni himself comes in cameos twice in this movie. Once in the early bit with just his cowboy hat on, and then the second bit while they're about to destroy Nal Hutta. So overall, I think this one was setting the stage for the potential group overall of this franchise as a movie as a whole. And secondly, I think it's testing the waters to see if this couple of people in a group could actually sustain movie success. I think after a few of these films, it'll have to raise the stakes up a little bit in order to continue the intrigue, or maybe if they're lucky, we'll find a way to actually sustainably keep this kind of setting for a movie like this. I can't wait for Star Wars Starfighter to come out next year, which I think is like the X-Wing series. I need to get to that, but that's at the tail end of the Legends continuity, as you'll see in tomorrow's video. I am closing in on towards finishing the Lord of the Rings, so we'll definitely have more book content coming out in the near future. I have a Stephen King book I'll be reading that is helping with writing and like a memoir about him, and then I have a few mythology books that I'm reading right after that, and then I have Star Wars and a few other franchises that'll be going through all throughout the summer. And so I hope you stick along for the ride. Like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We post 3 to 4 times every single week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Well, 4 to 5 times now: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Tuesday. We've been doing a lot of Tuesday videos recently. Next week we will have the full Multiverse Saga compilation video coming out, and of course a few weeks, and then we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll have a full-blown isekai top 5 deep dives video of my initial showing of why it's in the top 5, and then the deep dive immediately following after that, which is about 7 to 10 minutes long for them. And so I'll cut them to make sure of that, and it'll be a nice, wonderful compilation video. But I will see you all in the next one. Star Wars Legends video comes out tomorrow. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment below whether you liked or disliked Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu the movie. See you all in the next one. Goodbye and God bless.